Assalamu alaikum. All right, here goes part two. This is gonna be a long part. I'm gonna break it down like 5, 6 series or whatever it may be. Here it is. You have a young man that's 17 years old trying to feel his way out through a neighborhood that he's basically not familiar with. Trying to play football, going to Crenshaw High School, trying to fit in with the reputation of his big brother, trying to follow in certain footsteps, but he really wasn't built for it. And I'm a bear witness, brother. You know, once you raised differently, sometimes you just not built for certain things. So I always say that he wasn't built for that. And to this day, I always let him know that he wasn't built for that shit. So, but here's it is that the man get into a situation where he goes to this street race with Lil Feet and them, gets shot in the ass by a monster, get into a situation dealing with that, and then come home. By the grace and mercy of Allah, he didn't get killed. And then he started feeling like, you know, certain things that he don't supposed to do in the gang culture, you just don't do. So he started to understand that. So he had basically was like separating himself. He started hanging around like, you know, player type individuals in the neighborhood, square type dudes. And, you know, they was out running around trying to get females. You know how that be. You know, them dudes all thought they was pretty boys running around trying to get females. Him, Catman, Earth Cat, Lee Mack, all them dudes, you know, they all thought they was players. So, you know, a brother didn't mind him being around that particular type of crowd, because them brothers, man, even though them brothers are a man up and they'll whoop your ass, but they not going to take it to the stream and get out there and try to kill you or nothing like that, because they were just trying to get to the bag and, you know, try to be players. So he get caught up dealing with that situation in jail for right now. But you got to keep in mind that when I was telling you guys about everybody was in the second generation and third generation was at that meeting, he was nowhere around that. So, and 77 started shaking the tree in the neighborhood. 77 started shaking the tree, and when they started shaking the tree, they started taking individuals to jail. This one individual, he went and told on PDWAC, told where all the guns was at. He told basically what PDWAC was hiding at when he got arrested. So this individual right here, he know who I'm talking about, and homies and the brothers over there in that section should know who I'm talking about. This individual, he made a bunch of statements, so he went to 4800. So when he got to 4800, they went in there and they disciplined him. They beat his ass. They whooped him with shower shoes and all that type of stuff. So, you know, he made statements, and there's a lot of other individuals made statements. There's a lot of dudes that's demised that made statement. But the two people that made the most statement was Jeff Barlow and Nutty. Jeff Barlow went in there and told on Slim, T-Bone, Big U, Big Sleep Rock, and Nutty. He told on Nutty, and he told on a few other individuals. So you got to take in mind that when you're dealing with the investigation, they start doing a eliminator process, you know, on certain individuals, because it was just hearsay at first, you know. So they start eliminating certain individuals, and then Nutty went in there, and Nutty was having like straight interviews with the police, like every week, like interviews. He was having like tape recorders. He was calling them. They was meeting up. They was giving him money. They was doing straight all type of going through everything they needed to go through, and they was trying to figure out who did the crime. So what Nutty did was, Nutty said that he supplied the guns. So when you admit to something like that, if you supply the gun, you accessory to the murder. So, but what Nutty did was, since he was so much of an informant, I think the police gave him the guns, supplied him the guns to commit the particular type of crime, because, you know, he had police bulletproof vests, he had all type of weapons, He had all type of money. He just had everything that would attract the average individual that didn't have anything. So this Nutty, what he did was he collaborated Benzo Jeff's story, but they still didn't have enough to file charges on anybody. So what Nutty did was, Nutty came up with a lie. No, this what happened to Nutty. Somebody got word that Nutty was telling. So they kidnapped Nutty. So when they kidnapped Nutty, they told Nutty he better not tell on Petey Wag, he better not tell on Slim, he better not tell on Big U, he better not tell on all these other individuals, right? So what Nutty did was, and I truly believe, bro, that they came up with a systematic way to replace my brother with somebody else. So Nutty went in there and said that my brother told him he had a .30-30 caliber gun, which my brother never did. So he told them that. So when he told them that, that gave them enough evidence to file a case on my brother and Petey Wag, right? So they all go to jail, and when they go to jail, they still shaking the tree. The police still shaking the tree on our side, and the police shaking the tree on the gangster side. So before they go to jail, Petey Wag, and my brother, Joker's still at large. So even though that the police was still shaking the tree on our side, them brothers was still hunting for Joker. I mean, they was hunting for that brother, man. And it was going to be a big old thing. So I don't know who convinced Joker to turn himself in, but he turned himself in. And even in the county jail, they was waiting on him in the county jail. They didn't care about nothing, because you guys got to understand that Mumbles was somebody over there. Mumbles was a figure over there. Mumbles was a particular individual that everybody loved. This individual, he was a reputable over there. So it was like a bitter taste in their mouth, you know, when that particular thing happened. So when you're dealing with the gang culture, what everybody need to understand, man, that you don't have busters on each side. You have straight hitters and riders on each side. You know, on the gangster side, on the hustler side, I don't care where you from. You got hitters in each section. Hoovers, the Coases, the Comptons, the Watts, the Bloods. You have hitters, bro. It doesn't matter where you from, and you're a part of a particular type of gang culture in that particular era. You had hitters. So, and certain dudes wasn't gonna allow certain things to happen to some of their homeboys. So, was it extreme to what happened to Joker family? To me, yes, I do believe that was extreme. I think that was excessive, because I would have took a different approach. But like I said, man, things happen, and it happened quickly. And when you dealing with a whole bunch of young men, 18, 19, 20 years old, that their emotions running high, they're not thinking about nothing. Only thing they're thinking about is revenge. So that's what happened, you know, dealing with that aspect, dealing with, you know, they took it to the extreme, and they went to the house looking for him, and they found his parents. So they go to jail, man, you know, and when they go to jail, they don't have a lot of evidence, you know. So they got this guy, he's from Harlem. I think his name was Maurice or something like that. And if you guys ever remember an article in the paper back in the 80s where it was a USC rapist. This guy was a USC rapist. So what he did was he inserted himself into the case. He tried to say that he was over there the night when that happened. So he contacted the DA and said that he was over there. But what he did was he made a deal with the DA to get lesser time on, like, I think it was like 15 counts of rape, because he was a USC rapist. He was still over there raping a whole bunch of people. So they gave him lesser time. So what he did was he tried to say that he seen Whack them and my brother and them coming out the house and all, but he said he was way across the street, way like 2, 3, 4 blocks away. And I'm like, huh? So he asserted himself into the case as an eyewitness. No dang well he wasn't nowhere around that. So this individual, his name was Maurice. I'm going to get his nickname from my brother next time he called. But this guy inserted himself into the case. He go to the penitentiary. He get out, and he started doing the same shit over again. Started raping other individuals, like raping other women and stuff like that. So what he did was he tried to find a way out a particular crime. So this is what you guys need to understand. Irregardless if you was at a crime or not, people would assert themselves in certain crimes, just like the boy Loose Cannon. Loose Cannon asserted himself in so many crimes that he wasn't there, and now he's trying to figure out how he's going to get out of a certain situation. So basically, dudes lie on other individuals to try to get free. That's the nature of the game when you're dealing with that gang culture. People do not care, and people do not care if you tell or not. So that happened with him. And then this other individual, when my brother was in court, they still didn't have enough evidence. So they went and got one of his friends named Vincent. And Vincent sit there, and they made Vincent, they paid him. I think they paid him like 25 grand or something like that, just to say my brother told him a story about the case. But to this day, he gave a video affidavit was saying that the police pressured him. The police told him to say X, Y, and Z. The Deputy McCarty and Richards told him to say that, and he got paid to lie on my little brother. So you have a lot of individuals, brother, when you be catching these cases, when the police be shaking the tree and the detective be shaking the tree, they will lie just to close the books. So, and you guys got to understand that the DA knew this. This particular DA, he knew that my brother didn't have anything to do with it, because he stepped to my brother several times. He said, look, if you tell on Pettywhack, we're going to cut you loose. Even if my brother didn't know anything about the case, they just still wanted him to lie and say that Wack did the case. Wack did it. And he had no knowledge of that. And this what happens, you know, when you in this system, they don't care if you did it or not. They just want to close the books. So my brother being him, trying to stay down for a particular neighborhood that don't give a shit about him, and he understand that now. He trying to uphold the rules, the lands of the laws of the street code, which is shit now. He messed around and got life without for something he didn't do. And you got to keep in mind that this dude, Pettywhack, he was forcing my brother to go to trial first. He was pushing him. So when my brother go to trial, and we like, man, ain't no way he could get found guilty because they didn't have nothing. But back then, it's like when you have a high profile case like that, it's like a public outcry. They're going to try to do and lie and do everything they can just to close the books. And the perpetrators are still at large to this very day. You know, some of them are dead, some of them are demised, but they still around. So what I'm saying is that they threw my little brother up under the bus, right? They replaced him with another individual, and they know they did this, right? Here you have Pettywhack that took a deal, and he don't even want to give an affidavit saying my brother wasn't there. And he cannot get charged for the crime again because it's called double jeopardy. But for some reason, he don't want to do it. So I have a private investigator, and he's been doing so much digging, and I've been trying to get these brothers over there to help my little brother before this private investigator release all this evidence so nobody else won't get in no trouble. But these individuals, they don't want to help them for some reason, so my hands are tied now. So when my hands are tied, I'm going to choose my family over that particular neighborhood because I'm not from over there anyway, no more, no way. So I'm saying is this, brothers and sisters, man, if you guys are part of that gang culture, understand, bro, that when you get in trouble, don't look for your homeboys to look out for you, man. Only a certain few gonna look out for you. If you get in trouble, bro, don't think they're gonna hold water. You know, if you do a particular type of crime with somebody, don't think somebody's gonna hold their water, bro, because they're not. It's not like that anymore. The gang culture, brother, is something, man, that I think that it's destroyed the black community. And even for myself, you know, I have to take blame for that, because I was a predator and prey in my own community, because I was a part of a particular type of culture that was oppressive to my community. So it's like, when you see this and you understand that and you make change of that, and you speak against the injustice of that, people will get mad at you because you're speaking of injustice, you know. So, and you know, you have a lot of brothers that be getting at me, calling me with like, oh man, that's a part of the game, you know, that comes with that. Nah, bro, it comes. See, now I can understand if my brother was basically in a situation that he was there and he knew about something, and then something transpired, yeah, he has to eat that, right? But when you have an individual that go up there and just lie, and they're supposed to be a part of your own section, what type of stuff is that? What kind of shit is that? You know, it wasn't the gangsters that lied on him. It was his own so-called people that lied on him. So when you can't trust your own people, why would you want to stay down for your own people? And just what I tell him, I even tell him to this very day, I say, bro, out here right now in 2025, I said, bro, these dudes are so much, they telling so much, it's the norm, and they accept that. Regardless of what's going on with people out here, bro, they accept that. If you got a bag, you become the man over there. If you in a particular type of situation where you can let other individuals eat, they can tell and come back to the neighborhood and nothing's gonna happen to them. So I told him, bro, I was like, man, you wasn't built for this, you know, and you never was built for this. So it's like pointless now, because these dudes is not gonna recognize who you are. He don't even, to this day, he don't even know who did it, right? Because I don't tell him over the phone, man, because it can get other individuals in trouble. So, but I know everything. I know who did it. I know who you guys were, who you are, and all that type of shit. I know all you dudes that told. I know all you brothers that made statements. I know who you are, bro. You know, and I haven't said anything about to that. But I put it in the hands of our private investigator. So I try to ask you brothers, man, to look out, to help him get free. There's no effort in that. So me and my family, we're going to do what we have to do to help him get free. So it's not going to be us to tell on you. It's going to be your own to tell on you. Once again, it's going to be your own people to tell on you, because they're going to want to free themselves, or they're going to want to be scared. And then you got to understand that the brothers in that era, man, they have to be 57, 58, 59, 60 years old now. And they not going to want to go do no time for something that they haven't done. So they're going to tell about that, bro, because they have new evidence. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. They have new evidence where it's going to cause a lot of individuals some heartache. So my message is to you brothers, man, if y'all just would have helped the brother, man, it'd have been all right. It'd have been cool. But you guys would rather sacrifice his life for 38 years. And then some of you dudes even have the audacity talking about the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ going to get him out. Nah, brother, you sound stupid, because you get nothing without action. You know, if he gonna sit up there and wait on a miracle type of something to come down and free him and open the gate with a magical key, bro, you got to be crazy. It's not gonna happen, bro. This is part 2. Part 3 coming next. Assalamu alaikum.